Hey guys, how's it going? So it's Friday morning, and as I said, here is the Friday vid. So what have I got for you today? Well, this whole week I've been just so lazy, just been really, really bad at getting the motivation to go and do some stuff. So I've not made anything new with regard to Betrayal at Calf. However, I've been chatting to my mates a bit this week about sort of various forces and stuff like that, and how things are changing for Warhammer 40k now that we got characters like Rogal Dawn coming back. No, not Rogal Dawn, sorry, Rebute Gilliman, that's the one. How, the story's moving on with regard to Cypher, Cadia's Fall and stuff like that. The Eldar are coming back in a big way, etc, 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 various other things. And I was talking to them sort of, about, where they see things going from here. And how they think that'll affect their, the way they play the game or the armies they collect. And for me, it doesn't really affect me too much because I'm, of course, invested in the Horus Heresy. I'm doing a Shattered Legion. So I was kind of thinking about getting invested in 40k again, but in a sort of a bigger way. And I sort of looked at who there was, and of course the most obvious were Chaos, Chaos, Imperium, Eldar. And I was kind of like, I don't really want if I'm going to collect a force of 40k, I don't really want them to be invested in the story in the way that the Imperium or Chaos or Space Marines or Eldar or anyone like that would be, if that makes sense. I want a force that sees things in perhaps a bigger picture way, like a sort of, they're not sort of set on one singular goal, like taking out the Emperor or, defending, Terra or something like that. I want a more sort of free-form army, one that's just is there and there's nothing they can do about it, and so they're just going to make the most out of what they can, and they're not going to let it get them down. And I thought, well, who does that really encapsulate in Warhammer 40k? It's like the Tau. I mean, the Tau are quite, they're dynamic and they're young and they're sort of like all these squabbling lot over there. They can do that, but really once they see how awesome the greater good is, come on, that's where it's at. So I did think about Tau, and I was like, yeah, but they're kind of, I don't want to say limited because they're not. They're one of the best codexes out at the moment. But they're kind of, they're very set in how they play, if that makes sense. We know they're good at shooting. We know that that's where they excel. I don't really want to just be about that. So, excuse me. So Tau were out. Tyranids. Well, I'd done Tyranids before. Didn't enjoy Tyranids. Tyranids were out. Then one popped up. A faction popped up. That I was like, And it was kind of like a circle. It was like kind of like something coming full circle. Because when I first started out on Warhammer 40k, back in 98, 99, whenever it was. Yeah, 98, I think. I originally collected orcs. Not in a big way, but in a sort of, they were fun to paint and fun to stick together. And, and that was sort of that was, when I went into my local store, that was really the only box they had, was this box of Orc Boys. And a war bike. So I remember my dad bought me them. I went home and I did the best I could at sticking them together. I had no concept of the game or the rules. I just enjoyed making them and painting them. So yeah, so Orcs popped to mind while I was thinking about what I could do for Warhammer 40k. And I thought, well, yeah, the Orcs. They're fun. There's a lot of accessibility there to them, a lot of customization, a lot of potential for kit bashing and stuff like that. They're not neat. They're not, they're not they're not these, they're not very elaborate or, very, not really very, they're not very glamorous. They're very rudimentary, and they are what they are. What you see is what you get. And I like that. And I also like the sort of humorous, that sort of dark humour they've got. This sort of, they're a bunch of lunatics and a bunch of madmen and kind of psychotic, but they're not doing it because they're evil. They're just doing it because that's who they are. And there is something quite compelling and enjoyable about how sort of, how content they are with their lot in the universe. And that, and there's a great quote from Eldar called Uthan the Perverse, who is basically saying, I can't remember the quote, spot on, but he's basically saying all the other races of the galaxy think themselves so high and mighty and wonderful, yet they are all basically, walking down the path to annihilation, in their own way. And yet the orcs don't care at all, about that, because that's not what worries them. They have no worry, that doesn't concern them at all. They are more interested simply in having a good fight, making sure there's someone bigger than them to tell them what to do, and there's someone smaller than them to bully about. And that is it. They just want to go fast, they want to make loud noises, they want to have a full belly and somewhere to rest their head at the end of the day. That's it. That's their lot. Anything else apart from that, nah, doesn't bother them. Doesn't bother them at all. And I really found this quite endearing. I thought, out of all the races out there, everyone's going, who are the good guys in Warhammer 40k? And you can't really go, well, it's these guys. Because no one sort of is. Everyone has their own agenda and is kind of willing to do whatever to achieve it. But the orcs don't really have an agenda per se. They're just very... they're just quite lovable in their simplicity. They kind of are simpletons, but they're not, but they're not stupid in the way that we would sort of go, they can't do anything for themselves, because they can. They just don't care about, sort of living to a standard, this sort of artificial moral standard or something, perhaps, that the Imperium would, the Imperium that thinks it's so wonderful and brilliant and great, despite the fact it's decaying around them. The orcs don't care, so what if, their trucks look crappy and horrible and, and rusty and all that? Orc's happy with it. It goes forward, it makes a loud noise, it's got guns on it, it's got something sharp and spiky on it, it's his, he can go and cut up someone with it and blow stuff up with it. He's happy. Who's to say that's wrong? And so I kind of went, yeah, orcs are awesome. And I really was sat down, I was talking to a mate about it, going, I could just do anything. I could go around to my local shop and get a Mr. Potato Head toy and turn that into like an orc gargant. And he was like, yeah, do it. And we were sort of just reeling off the list of things, that I could potentially do with orcs. And there's really nothing you can't do, which was brilliant. So with that, I thought, right, let's go into my bits box and pull some stuff out and try and make something orky and see if I enjoy it. And if I do, then I kind of know that I found my calling. And so I built this ugly, ugly little brute. Definitely a face for radio. Only a mama could love it. But it is orky and I quite like it, and it was a lot of fun. It is just so crude in its aesthetic. It's just ridiculous. I mean, look at it. You've got this great big ridiculous chainsaw here, this pickaxe that is just looks so, like it's going to it may fall apart as much as it is going to crush you. This massive obnoxious cannon here with these just ridiculous rockets here wedged on. It's got these spiky feet. It's got the googly eye here, and these vents for the orc to look out, these horns on top of its head, and then of course on the back it's got all these vents and exhausts and wires everywhere and gears, and you just know by looking at this thing that it's just going to be clanking around the place. The orc inside is going to be howling and whooping and yelling, and it's just going to be blasting things apart. These rockets are flying off, whirling off everywhere, and this thing's just going to be going up and down, and this thing's going to be swaying from side to side, and it's not going to look, it will sound like a racket coming from a mile away, and yet it kind of, for me, encapsulates everything that's orky, and I'm really quite happy with it, and I'm looking forward to using it. I'm not really sure what I'll use it as. I mean, it could be a death dread, but I'm not sure how high death dreads are or how big they are, and if it's a bit too big I may have to make him like a mecha, a mega dread, something like that, which would be cool. But yeah, so I just made him out of bits and pieces I had lying around, like an old paint pot, bits of sprue here, bits of old TV, bits of old toy tanks. These weapons here are actually from some old Robot Wars toys. And yeah, I'm just really happy with it. I think it's an ugly little sucker, but it is orky, and that is what, and like I was saying, earlier on, just because it ain't pretty doesn't mean it can't do a good job, and that's what orcs are all about. It doesn't matter that it doesn't look good because it's got a big old shooter, it's got a chopper and a saw and some spiky bits here, and he's just going to go bounding forward, and he's going to go munch something up. And yeah, I was just really happy with it once I'd finished with it. And so there you go, guys. That is what I've been up to, making this little brute. I'm really happy with it. If you guys out there are collecting orcs, feel free to share some of your ideas or some of your creations. Tell me what you reckon this could be, whether it be if you play orcs, could this be a death dread? Could it be something a bit bigger? And yeah, there you go. That is what I've been up to. This abomination. So there you go, guys. So thank you very much for watching. I am, of course, going to be having another video ready for you on Monday. And tonight, as you may remember, I said that I will be appearing on Else Donations channel at 8 o'clock. So you get to look at my ugly mug there for about an hour. Go over there, go over to Elsto's channel, share him, share the love, share his vids, like, subscribe to him and everything like that, because his stuff's brilliant. Seriously, it's amazing. I'm like, it's crazy to be actually invited onto someone's channel who you've admired before you even had a channel. It's people like Elsto, like Templars Crusade 01, IDIC Beer, 40k Theories, Arch Warhammer, all of the guys from Legion of Gamza, Mini War Gaming, etc, 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 etc. Just so many to name. I'm not leaving anyone out on purpose. There are so many. All these people do such great work, and it's it's crazy to finally have the ability, I should say, or the opportunity to actually be able to appear and work with these people on their channels and stuff like that. So thank you very much. It's only because of the support of you watching now that I can be afforded this opportunity. So thank you very much. It does genuinely mean a lot to me, and I'm actually really quite excited. It's going to be cool. So guys, thanks for watching. Take it easy, stay safe. If it's raining outside like it is here, stay indoors, crack open them paint pots and all that super glue, and get model making or painting. And I will catch you guys later on. Please stay safe as always, and I will see you when I see you. Take it easy, guys, and from me and Orky Jr. See you later. Bye bye.